You're listening to The Ununited State of the World with Francis, Jay, and Monique, only on LA Talk Radio.
How's it going, Los Angeles? This is the Ununited State of the World. I'm Monique LeRae, and my co-host here is Jay Heckendorn-Tilinda, and our third, Francis Vigors, is traveling in Thailand, so he might log on a little bit later, but right now, I want to introduce Jay. Jay, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
I'm good, Monique. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, thank you. And full transparency, Jay will be joining us in 2 hours for my 5-year anniversary on the startup. So we're pulling from Jay's expertise today, but I think he's the perfect person to have on my 5-year show. He's successful in real estate and mortgage. He's very charismatic about what he does, and he's passionate about it. So, Jay, why don't we speak a little bit about mortgage rates and real estate and all the good stuff? My initials, MLS. Let's talk about it.
Do you guys want to know some good news?
What's the good news?
Rates have actually dropped down. So, by the way, audience, so I have 36 years in real estate, residential mortgage, banking, and commercial lending. And so that's my background to it. Over the past 4 or 5 weeks, we've seen a nice little drop, not too much of a drop, but a nice little break in interest rates. We've also seen some loosening up in credit. So whether you've got a buyer, first-time buyer, and they're short on cash, I can get them down payment assistance. In other words, that allocates, that's granted money. As long as you live in the property for their threshold, whether that be 2 years or 5 years, you live in that property, you got your down payment for free. If you're credit challenged, I've got a whole team, and it's not those little scam artists that go, oh, let's just write a letter to the credit person and see if they respond in 30 days. And if they don't respond in 30 days, they got to take it off the credit report. And all they do is they respond in 60 days and put it right back on there.
They do?
And that's how that game works.
Oh.
And or you get some attorneys and they just charge you every month and say, yeah, we're fighting it. That's a bunch of malarkey. No. Yeah, you like that one. I pulled that one.
Is that the same as like hunky dory?
Yeah.
What is that? What does that mean? I mean, I think I know what it means.
Or a sweet Betsy or something like that. Anyway, I have a whole team that focuses on true credit repair debt. And what they focus on is APRs. A lot of people are not aware, especially with today's credit card rates. They've gone up. I know my own credit card was like 3%. It was 0 and then went to 3. And now it's about 8%. I mean, I don't really use them, but I'm with private banking. And
wow, that's a lot. 8. From 0 to 8 in how many years? That's kind of horrible.
Yeah, over the past year and a half. And not my credit score didn't change or anything like that. But actually, that's nothing. Many of the buyers, and I do hundreds of loans a year, or my company does, and we're seeing rates between 23 and 30% on credit card debt.
Wow,
and that's really strapping some people. So, first off, when it comes to rates, do not mix up. That Treasury bill is really it's tied to the bond market. Okay, mortgage rates are tied to the bond. And yes, they run a little bit parallel with the Treasury, but that has nothing to do with consumer debt financing. And what I've been seeing is I've seen a lot of people hanging on to their mortgage rates at 4.5%, 5%. But yet they've racked up literally $40, $50, $60, $70,000 in credit card debt. And now they're paying 20% on that credit card debt, or 23% on that credit card debt. So we've been doing a lot of debt consolidation on that. So just because your mortgage rate is one thing, you really have to look at your whole financial picture and see how much you're really putting out and where and what the longevity is. And so that's key. Now, the good news is rates are the Fed meets again next week. Rates are expected to drop by at least a quarter point. However, be prepared because the Treasury has already built in that adjustment in the current pricing. I still think that we'll still see a little bit of a dip. And if somebody is looking to buy a home, well, there are a lot of buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines saying, hey, wait a second, there's not enough inventory. There's the rates are too high. There's not enough inventory. And so we're going to hold off a little bit. And then there's been a reason we don't have a lot of inventory is, well, builders have been kind of restrained between supply and demand issues. They've also been restrained by a lot of regulatory issues and zoning and planning and things like that. And the regular sellers that may want to scale down, or maybe they're getting divorced. I mean, I know of 3 files right now that are divorce files where they are separated. They are in the midst of divorces, but they're living under one roof simply because they don't know where else to move, right? And so, and they don't want to give up their 4.5% rate. So when the rates drop a little bit, and some of those sellers, do go to market because now they're not going to lose their entire gap on the interest rate. Then that'll open up a little bit of inventory. However, buyers that are waiting on sideline will jump right in. And here's the thing. You can always renegotiate your interest rate. That's called a refinance. What you can never do is repurchase your property. So it is better to take a higher rate at a lower price than it is at a lower price.
Lower rate,
at a lower rate, a higher price at a lower rate. Okay, because you can never undo the price. So when these buyers get off the sideline, guess what happens to prices? That's called demand. Demand raises prices. So right now, this is a great time to get in. You can always refinance later on as rates continue to drop, but you can never rebuy. So please be aware of that one.
Wow, guys, listen, Jay, the fact that you have time, I know there's a game on right now and you travel quite a bit. The fact that you're dropping this knowledge on to the listeners and viewers is priceless, guys. Booking a consult with Jay, good luck trying to get a hold of him. He's booked, busy, and blessed, but we see why. Those tips there are really, really great. And I love what you said, you cannot change the price that you buy it at. You can always adjust the interest rate. So buy it. I love what you just said, guys. So right now, this is the ununited state of the world. We're speaking about real estate and mortgage in the American market, and we have an expert in that field, Jay Heckendorn-Jalinda, over 30 years of service. And your company, I love your company name. We're not the bank. We're better. It's like a name and a slogan in one. How did you come up with that subsidiary of your business? How did you come up with that idea?
Actually, that was my business partner, Brad Siebert, did that. And so, and there's 3 different types of lenders. So you have a direct lender, which is a depository bank. A depository bank is like a Bank of America, a Chase, a Wells Fargo, a Truist, somebody that accepts your money and opens checking accounts and offers loans, okay? They are extremely regulated, and they have these what's called reserve requirements. So if they get more than 3% of their portfolio goes into default, bam, they cannot loan out as much money, and therefore the interest rate that you get on your CDs, on new CDs, or that you're getting on your checking accounts drops, and the interest rates they charge go up because they cannot loan as much money. So there's depository, and they're restricted. They can only offer the products that they have. Then you have a mortgage banker. A banker is also a direct lender, but not a depository. So a banker can loan off a warehouse line, or they can do it to the secondary market if they're delegated or whatever. So they can be a direct lender and go off the warehouse line. And where that comes in really handy is, and that's why the banks Chase, Wells, B of A will refer business to me. Whatever doesn't fit in their box, they will send over. And you've got situations where maybe somebody has a bankruptcy that's just getting ready to fall off their credit, okay? And it's going to fall off within a few months, or maybe they just started a new job and they don't have enough seasoning behind them on that new job. They need a few months to get some seasoning, some paycheck subs. Or maybe they're finishing out a divorce and they need to finish out that settlement. Well, I can put it on warehouse line and carry it for 6 months and get them cleaned up. Or maybe there's credit challenges. And so as long as I can get it done in 6 months, bam, I've got you. You're good to go. We'll knock it out. And then at the end of 6 months, I will sell to the secondary market. Or I also price out against the secondary market as a broker. So I can do banking and I can broker it. If I see PennyMac or UWM or anybody else has a better rate and term sheet than I do, no problem. I can simply broker it to them and get it done that way. So that's why We Are Not the Banks has been so successful, is we reach out on that, and we're not, I've got clients that, like I said, that there was one just a few weeks ago. They literally bought their first house all in for $1,800. They were going to have to release the property. Leasing the property would have been like $3,000, and they were paying at that point, I think they were paying $2,500 in rent. They got in for $1,800 all in.
What?
Their house payment is $300 less than their rent.
What is happening?
And
what?
And then I've got other clients that are worth $300 million, and they simply want the best rate and terms for all kinds of projects. So
Wow.
we deal with the whole gamut. But I like helping the entry buyers or people re-enter. And when I say first-time buyer, and that doesn't mean that has to be your first home. If you haven't owned a home in 2 or 3 years, you qualify as a first-time buyer again.
There's a piece of information folks didn't know. That's great to know.
Yes, and there's all kinds of programs. And if you like rural areas, we've got USDA. If you like urbans, well, we can do. There's a difference between townhomes and condominiums. We do both of them. Not everybody does condominiums because their HOAs work differently. But we do both condominiums and townhomes. We do estates, and we even do mobile homes.
Oh wow, we love a little mobile home around here.
Hey, as long as I get invited to the first barbecue, I'm happy.
I know. Everybody, bring the sauce. Jay loves some good barbecue. Jay, thank you for this, because it sounds like you and your partner Brad created this sweet spot out of a need, right? Because those people that almost made it, and you saw, let me just add a little tender loving care, a little chicken noodle soup, a sweater, some tea, and we can do it. And I think you've really identified a cool niche in your market. You speak to that. And it sounds like you speak to that from, like you said, from the trailer park to estate clientele. But I think what's really great right now is that the things you're giving us, people don't know. Yes, you can get those credit cards, get on Kickoff. They're not sponsoring the show, and they should be. Shout out to Kickoff or Current, the Credit Genie. Those things can bump someone's score up and take them otherwise unapproved to approved. Let's talk about, since it just was Labor Day, and shout out to everybody and other military service people. Let's talk about people in the service or family members. How do we speak about these benefits for people to first time buy or second time buy?
Well, VA is great. And in fact, we have a bunch of loan programs for that. Not everybody does. For each of these loan programs, to explain, we have to submit an application. We have to have certain financial requirements, processing reviews, compliance reviews. There's all kinds of things before you get signed on for those programs. But yeah, of course we have VA. VA is zero down. I mean, how much better does that get? Right? And
Right.
if we get concessions from the seller, you actually walk in with almost nothing. Or I just had a VA guy the other day, and he put down $200,000 just because he wanted to. Right? That's his choice, but he didn't have to.
It felt good to do it.
I've got it. There's a lot of people, and then we have doctors. We have first responder loans, and so
Right.
they get in at a very low down payment. They can have higher debt ratios because we know their job is stable. So whether it's a doctor loan, which doctors are risky, and those their business is very complicated with how they get reimbursed by insurance companies.
Sure.
The insurance costs, their own malpractice insurance costs that they have to carry, and the fluctuations in regulations that they endure. But we have doctor loans. We have the first responder loans. And we also have a really cool loan. A lot of people right now, they've got a home and they want to buy another home.
Okay.
And whether that's a brand new home or one that they want to search for, they're afraid if they put their house on the market, my God, you get an offer and I don't have a place to go to yet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you go reverse and they're driving down on Sunday and they go into a new home neighborhood and they find the dream home by whatever builder. And they say, oh my God, honey, I love this house. We got to sell ours, but that builder's got 5 other buyers in line to buy that house. Now, what do you do?
Well, you go to Vegas or you pray. I don't know what you do.
Or you go to Vegas and pray.
Right. You do both. You do both. Or you call Jay.
I got a bridge loan where I can loan up to 80% of the current value of the current home. So you got a $500,000 home. I can loan $400,000 against that.
Wow.
Let's say they owe $200,000.
Okay.
That gives them $200,000 to put down on the next house. Oh wait, it gets better.
Oh, it does?
No payments for 12 months.
Get out. It's not even Christmas yet. What's happening?
So they've got 12 months to sell their current house before a payment on that $400,000 comes due. Now they'll have a house payment on the new home, of course, because they bought the new house.
Right.
But on that $400,000 that I lent them, no payments for 12 months.
What? How? Okay. How does not everyone know about this? I mean, and why aren't more real estate and mortgage companies doing this? How did you get the sweet spot? Are you the curator of this little? How did you do this? I mean, we only have 8 minutes left. We're gonna just do a half-an-hour show today, but summarize it for us.
It's called good relationships, sound financial stability, sound underwriting. So when we underwrite files, our files hardly ever. I mean, I can only think of 2 times in many years that we had a file default on us. So we have good underwriting. We have strong financials. We have strong relationships because of that. And I'm not the only one. I'm not going to say that. I don't know how many other lenders have it. I don't think very many do. I've heard some lenders say they've got something, but it's good for 6 months. And I've got some that say they're good for 8 months, but you got to make double payments on the old house and the new house. So now you're double payments.
No.
There's not many people that have this product. And I really, I broadcast it to my clients. I don't broadcast it to my competitors because that gives me my competitive advantage, right? So, you may be letting the cat out of the bag here, but we'll see.
Okay, great. And I hate cats. Sorry, everybody. I'm a dog girl. But Jay, obviously the word gets on the curb that there's a guy in Florida, in LA, in St. Thomas, in Sweden and Morocco, doing big, in New England, doing big things. I mean, you can't blame that on us, right? You're doing big things in a consistent and quiet way, but aren't you about to be featured at an event in Miami for some realtor event? So the word's getting on the curb.
Hey, so listen, for all you loan officers out there, if you don't have the products I just named, and I've got about a dozen more I can go through, call me at 214-244-7857. My name is Jay. Call me and I will help you increase your loan package. Now, the Miami event, that is for commercial lending. And the difference between when you get a home loan, and I'll be quick, I know we're running out of time. Your home loan is good for 15, 20, maybe 30 years, right? In commercial, it doesn't work that way. Your loans are good for 5, 7, 10, maybe 25 years, but most of them are 5, 7, 10 call dates. So commercial has to constantly refinance. And that's a nice steady flow. We've got about $27 billion left of commercial that's coming due within the next 12 months. So that's going to be very active. The Miami event, that is all REITs, trusts, it's hedge funds, it's family office managers, it's commercial real estate brokers and commercial lenders. And yes, I'm speaking at that because I specialize in commercial lending. And I have an amazing marketplace that is like the Amazon to the commercial lending world. It really is a disruptor, and it simplifies something that was in the past very, very complicated, kind of like doing my hair in the morning. Monique,
Oh, I'm muted. Hey, guys, thank you. I like two of those words, simplification and disruptor. If you guys are in the Miami area and you want to see Mr. Heckendorn Talinda and speak to him and get to grow your business, get to know your business. I know that your slogan is strong relationships build raving fans.
outstanding relationships attract new raving fans every day. That has been the mission statement for 36 years.
Listen, I butchered your slogan, and I apologize. It's a better way you put it. If you guys want to see Jay, he'll be in Miami. I think that the fact that you're willing to share the knowledge means that you are a true leader in your industry, because you have your secret sauce, right? Like everybody has their recipe for spaghetti, but you have your secret sauce that's been working for 30 years. So you sharing a little knowledge with people at this event, what can they expect? Give us 2 minutes of what they can expect and how they can get tickets to meet you.
So go to NAR. I think it's org. So it's National Association of Realtors, and you'll see an event, CCIM. And so just go to NAR, scroll down to CCIM. It's going to say Miami or Hollywood, Florida. It's at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, September 16th through the 19th. It is great for anybody that has ever wanted to or thought about owning a shopping center or an apartment building or a quadplex, or maybe they're a business owner and they're renting. If you are a business owner and you are renting, you must call me. I promise you, I can make it better. You don't need to rent your space. I've got a whole network of local brokers across the nation, so local near you, to help you find a site. And yes, this is an event where if you're an investor, if you are a commercial lender, if you're a commercial broker and you just want to know that your deals are going to close, this is the event where you want to network. This is where anybody that's who in the commercial industry is going to be, and I can arrange FaceTime with them, and you will learn more than you would in a whole semester of college,
Wow.
probably more than a whole degree.
Wow, this is amazing, Jay. Thank you for this. And you know what, guys? It doesn't suck that it's in Miami. So, I mean, you get to meet Jay, you get all this wealth of information, you can get the commercial building and the access to the knowledge to gain the commercial building that you desire. I'm excited about this, Jay, for you. Congratulations on being a keynote speaker. That's a huge accomplishment. You know, we just have a few more minutes. Shout out to everybody that's listening. We didn't fight today. We talked about something that we agreed on. And I agree with real estate. My initials are MLS. My dad's in real estate all my life. But I agree with people, you know, growing their portfolio, buying assets, getting land and things like that. And yes, I know a lot of startup businesses that are scaling that don't quite have the capital, and you sound like what you just described earlier sounds like you really can fill in a gap to clients and businesses that are scaling. They're going from startup to having some income and some, you know, disposable income, operational income, and they might want to invest in a commercial property. So this is great. Jay will be back in an hour and a half. He'll be back on the startup. He's my sole guest. He's going to share about his life from the beginning, how he became this real estate mogul, and how he stays grounded, and the amazing person that he is. So, Jay, I'm excited to have you back on the other show.
I can't wait. All right. Thank you, Monique. I really appreciate it. And everybody, I hope that there were takeaways for you from the show. And if not, please take a shout out to Monique and let her know what she'd like to hear.
Yeah, Jay, plug one more time where people can follow you, your website, and your contact.
Website is wearenotthebanks.com. My telephone number is area code 214-244-7857. My name is Jay Heckendorn. I promise if you Google it, you'll find me without any problem, because nobody has been cursed with a last name like mine. So one of a kind.
It's true. We just have 2 more minutes now, Jay. I want to just tell the listeners and viewers, Francis will be back with us next week. We're going to talk about something really big, a big topic to him, something very important to a lot of people in the world. Probably affects us too, but we're 2 Americans over here. So we're going to learn a lot from Francis next week, Jay. I'm excited for the topic next week. Are you? Don't give it away, though. Are you?
Wait, I thought he got his vasectomy done.
Wow.
Is that what he wanted to talk about? Because I thought he was pulling out of something. He's British, and it's something about British people pulling out. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, God. The show just, listen. Okay. Well, you know, I love Jay for this reason. He always shakes things up and makes them fun. Yes, we're going to talk about British-related topics.
Pulling out. British people pulling out, right?
I think if we are keeping it business, there is a pulling out element to the topic. I just don't know how I'm going to clean this up. All right, you guys, you never know what you get out of Florida, but full disclosure, you're going to hear Jay Heckendorn telling his story. He's from South Central Los Angeles. He was born in Waco, Texas. He lives in Florida and many other places, but you're going to get the real deep dive on my show at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. Today, for my 5-year anniversary, I thought I'd bring a veteran in an industry that I don't know much about, and a veteran in his business, someone who is absolutely 1,000% dedicated to great results and great relationships on my 5-year startup show. There's a rhyme and reason to my madness, everybody. So, Jay, can't wait to see you shortly. Thank you for being here. You guys, we have an Instagram at the Ununited State Podcast. And we have a website launching soon. I've just done the landing page and we're getting it done. You can also look us up on latalkradio.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom to the Ununited State of the World podcast. We just got a new logo. Jay, what do you think of the logo?
I love it.
I love it too. You guys,
I think it brings together. I don't think it divides. I think it incorporates everybody.
No, you're right. And you got my message, right? I showed Jay, he proofed it and he added some critique and we added what he wanted on there too, because it's a collective, but he got it. I didn't have to explain much, right? When you saw it.
Yeah. No, it was brilliant.
Thank you for saying that. We're a good team. You guys, this is the Ununited State of the World. We'll be back next week. Be well. Ciao.
You're listening to The Ununited State of the World with Francis, Jay, and Monique, only on LA Talk Radio.